Recently, I've seen a lot of videos on the upcoming Pixel 11, like this one here, or this one, or even this one. The problem though is that all these videos are AI slop. This is not the Pixel 11. This isn't the Pixel 11 either. Yet look at how many views these videos are getting. This one is over 1 million. How many of those views are from people who think this is a legitimate early look at the Pixel 11? I hate this. I hate all of this so much. But before I get deeper into this topic, let me start off by saying that I am not an AI hater. I know there are a lot of people out there who hate the fundamental idea of generative AI. I'm not one of those people. I think AI is improperly used a lot of the time, and I think it's very dangerous to rely on AI for any kind of decision making. But I use AI every day for multiple tasks. In fact, I used it to make mock-ups for the thumbnails for this video. It's way faster than drawing them out, and it's helpful for Lon to have a visual representation of what I've envisioned for it. So there you go, proof that I don't hate AI and I am an active user. But what I hate about these Pixel videos is that the people making them are spreading misinformation. I can immediately tell that this is not a Pixel 11, and many people watching this can also probably tell too. But for everyone who can spot a fake when they see one, there are plenty of others out there who can't, and they will think that this is a legit representation of the phone, which makes me really uneasy. So let's talk about this. Let's go over what we actually know about the Pixel 11 so far, and also talk a bit about the misinformation out there about the phones. First, let's talk about the design. These are leaked renders of the Pixel 11 phones. There's the Pixel 11, Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL, and Pixel 11 Pro Fold. To be clear, these are not real images of the phones, these are mock-ups based on legitimate CAD files. In other words, these are very close to what the phones will look like, but not 100% exact. You might be wondering what the difference is between these renders and the AI stuff that I hate. Here's a little behind-the-scenes info on how this works. Google finalizes the designs of a new Pixel months before it goes into production. Once finalized, it needs to send those files to factories to start getting production going, and also needs to send the final design to case manufacturers so they can create cases that fit perfectly and are available to buy on the same day the phone launches. When Google sends these design files out, inevitably, someone sneakily gets one. They then sell that file to a leaker. The leaker uses their skills in softwares like Blender to create a realistic image of the phone based on those leaked files. The leaker then goes to an online outlet to sell their mockups. As long as the leaker makes more money for the renders than they paid for their raw designs, they earn a tidy profit. The online outlet then makes their money back because everyone who wants to see the renders needs to go to their site to see them. Everyone makes a little money, Google gets to see early responses to their designs, and we all get to start thinking about if we're going to upgrade or not when the real thing launches. So these renders here are not real, but they are based on what the actual real-life Pixel 11s will look like. That's a huge difference when it comes to this, which is based on, well, nothing. Anyway, from these renders, it's clear that the overall design of the Pixel 11 phones isn't likely to change much. One thing that will be new though is a feature called Pixel Glow. No one knows what this really looks like yet, but the information out there suggests this will be some sort of lighting feature on the back of the phone. The problem with Pixel Glow is that people are literally just making up what they think it will look like and irresponsibly positioning their mock-ups in such a way that people could construe them as the final design. Here's a thumbnail that shows it as being light surrounding the Pixel 11's camera bar. The official listing in the thumbnail is particularly egregious. Here's another thumbnail that shows it as a series of LEDs on the camera bar itself. These are two totally different designs, yet each channel is positioning them both as being what you should expect to see, even though no one outside of Google actually knows for sure. Of these two, the one that's likely the closest is this one with the LEDs. But you know what this is based on? It's based on this image, which is itself an AI creation. This image comes from a leaker who claims to have seen a Pixel 11 prototype and then did their best to describe it to an AI image generator, and this is what came out. So people are making images with AI that are based on a previous AI image that is based on what someone remembers seeing on a device that isn't even the real retail model. It's a literal game of telephone that is based on nothing. Let me be real here. Am I excited about the Pixel Glow feature? Hell yes, I am. I'm a Pixel guy, and Pixel Glow is easily the thing I am most excited about so far. But all this is all incredibly irresponsible reporting. As of right now, the only people who really know what Pixel Glow looks like are the people on the Pixel team at Google. Will we eventually have reliable intel on it? Yes, we will, and that intel will almost certainly come before the phone's launch. But right now, today, no one knows. And all this is all just junk speculation. Okay, moving away from Pixel Glow, let's talk about Tensor G6. This is the next generation processor that will power all the Pixel 11 phones. So far, I have seen reliable intel that most aspects of the processor will be upgraded over the Tensor G5, which is what's in the Pixel 10 phones. That means a better CPU, a better modem, a better TPU, which is the thing that does all the on-device AI stuff, and even an upgraded image signal processor, which should mean better photos and videos. But most people are ignoring all that and only talking about the leaked info on the GPU. Leaks suggest that the GPU is this, which I'm not even going to say out loud because it's a ridiculous name. This is a GPU we haven't seen before, but the 4 letters in the name, CXTP, seem to suggest that this is a riff on the C series of PowerVR GPUs, which first launched in 2021. For reference, this is the GPU in Tensor G5, which is a D series processor that first launched in 2023. Based on this info, people are now assuming that the GPU in the Tensor G6 will actually be a downgrade over what was in Tensor G5. After all, the C series is older than the D series, and older means downgrade. But before we grab our pitchforks, let's look at the bigger picture. Why on earth would Google use an older GPU architecture? The answer is likely the manufacturing process. Leaks heavily point to the Tensor G6 moving to a brand new cutting-edge 2nm process. As of today, only one smartphone processor in the world is built on 2nm, and that's the Samsung Exynos 2600 that appears in international variants of the Galaxy S26 series. That's powerful stuff, but also very expensive stuff. So to keep costs down and manage space on the chip, Google is probably just making calculated trade-offs. They are probably thinking that dialing back the raw gaming GPU to save money and space is worth it to bring significant updates to the CPU, TPU, and ISP. You know, the stuff that powers the AI and camera features that Pixel users actually care about. Is it a downgrade for hardcore mobile gamers? Yeah, but Google knows hardcore mobile gamers aren't buying Pixels anyway. So what customers does it really stand to lose by downgrading the GPU slightly? When you think about it this way, the GPU rumors make sense, but that idea doesn't get as many clicks as Tensor G6 GPU disaster. To be clear, I am not saying that Tensor G6 will be awesome. I have no definitive information on what Tensor G6 will actually be like, which is why I haven't made any videos on the topic or said anything on social media about it. I don't want to mislead anyone, even if it could result in tons of views from my content, so I don't do it. I wish other creators did the same, but we don't live in that world, unfortunately. Okay, a few more quick things here to discuss. Leaks suggest that these are the battery life capacities of the Pixel 11 series. Note that each and every one of them is smaller than the advertised capacities of the Pixel 10 phones. Does this mean that the batteries on the Pixel 11 series are all getting smaller? Probably not. These leaked capacities are more likely to be the minimum capacity, not the advertised capacity. It's likely the phones will have the same batteries as the Pixel 10 series, with the lone exception being the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. That one might actually have a smaller battery because the phone is getting thinner, but we'll need to wait and see on that. These are the RAM capacities for the Pixel 11 series, once again, based on leaks. The interesting thing here is that Google appears to be positioning itself to charge more for more RAM. The Pixel 10 Pro, for example, comes with 16 GB of RAM no matter which variant you buy. But it appears that the Pixel 11 Pro will have 12 GB of RAM for some models and 16 gigs for others. While this is a disappointing rumor, it's not hard to imagine thanks to the RAM and memory crisis happening right now. Google needs to make up for those sunken costs somehow. And finally, let's talk cameras. The rumors suggest so far that all 4 phones in the Pixel 11 series will get new main sensors, and the 11 Pro and 11 Pro XL could also get new telephoto sensors. It's not quite clear what other changes are happening, but it does seem that Google is making some camera hardware improvements this year, which is always nice to see. So when are the Pixel 11 phones actually launching? In 2024, Google launched the Pixel 9 series on August 13th. In 2025, the Pixel 10 series launched on August 20th. So it's reasonable to assume we'll see the Pixel 11 series launch in the second half of August sometime. That means there are only a few months to go, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more leaks coming between now and then. Just remember that not all leaks are equal, and as AI becomes more and more ubiquitous, it's going to be harder and harder to determine what leaks are trustworthy or not. I can promise you that I will never, ever push untrustworthy leaks on this channel. And I will also never use AI to intentionally mislead you to click and watch something. If you like the sound of that, why not like and subscribe? And if you want to hear me talk about something else that Google is launching this year that I'm very excited about, check out this video here, which is all about the upcoming Google Books. I'll see you all down in the comments.